Welcome to my channel. I'm Tamara Childs, and this is my storytelling channel, The Wig Tutorials. Um, this is a free-form improv storytelling kind of situation. And today, I thought it would be fun to share some of my Barbie dolls that are kind of props to help me tell my tales. And so I found this one. Now this Barbie, you can see her, see what she looks like. Da-da-da. Um, she looks like she's ready for her moment, her Oscar moment, doesn't she? Except for the dress is a little short, maybe. She reminds me of when I was 7 and I got my very first Barbie doll. When I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of, we didn't have the selection of dolls that we have now. And so there were Barbie dolls, and my mom really objected to Barbie dolls because she was a feminist, and she didn't, she didn't wear makeup, and she did wear dresses and skirts, but she didn't like, um, she didn't like the idea of judging ourselves against beauty standards. Now, interestingly, it still happened. So I think she relented when I was about 7, when I was asking for a doll. I wanted a doll. And so I got a Dawn doll. And this is as close as I can remember. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of the Dawn doll. She had like bright blonde hair, and probably she was wearing pink or something like that. And I remember when she came in the mail, um, I was at a square dance because I grew up in the country, and it was actually called a contra dance, country dancing, do-si-do, your partner, all of that. And I remember that I had the box, the brown cardboard box from my Dawn doll in hand, and everybody was dancing, and I had on a little dress, but I could care less about contra dancing. I wanted my Dawn doll, and I wanted her now. So I opened the Dawn doll, got her out of the plastic casing, and I was just so excited to have a new doll. And she kind of looked a little bit like this. Let me comb her hair a little bit. And so I'm at this contra dance, they're friends and family around. It was kind of a close-knit community that I grew up in. And we had a good friend of the family's that was sitting there with me while I was admiring my new Dawn doll. And there was this older gentleman who kind of picked me out. He was like sort of dancing by himself, and he was like trying to make eye contact with me. And I mean, I was 7. I was like this really, it made me feel very shy, and I wasn't sure what he wanted. And I thought, why is he so interested in me? And he kept smiling over at me. And finally, to my horror, he came over, a totally strange man at this contra dance. And he was like, I'd like to ask the lady if she would like to have a dance with me. Well, I was just sitting there with my eyes glued to my Dawn doll, like, no, 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 go away, mister. And I was petrified. I did not want to dance with a strange man. I didn't know who he was. I didn't recognize him. He was older than my parents. I was like, I don't know, this is somebody's grandpa, but it wasn't a comfortable feeling. And I always have this memory. I just remember that with my Dawn doll, getting the Dawn doll, being at the dance, and having this encounter that felt kind of weird to me. And luckily, our friend Judy was sitting near me, and she protected me from the discomfort, and she spoke to him for me. You know, I had my eyes just on my Dawn doll, like just not wanting to do this, you know, and also I didn't feel like dancing. I wanted to be with my Dawn doll. Um, and so she very politely sent him away. And you know, he still was like looking at me from across the room after that. And you know, it's so funny because I was only 7, but I think there was a part of me that was like, why is he so interested in dancing with me instead of a grown-up lady? And then also, like, why would he be interested in dancing with me as a little brown girl? And that's a whole other conversation because you see, I had this Dawn doll, and but she didn't resemble me at all, you know. And of course, I loved her. I loved all of my dolls. I just loved, you know, I kept a lot of company with dolls when I was little. I was more of a doll. Those were my friends, my dolls. But I didn't have too many dolls that looked like me. Um, I, you know, like this is a doll that might look a little bit more like me. And she's really cool. I love her little like shoes that she's got on. She's got a little like fun mini dress kind of deal going on, a little cool lime colored necklace. And I love this hair. It's just billowing out. And she probably looks a little bit more like me now. Oops, she's looking here. Yeah. Nah. She didn't see she's acting like I was at that dance. She doesn't want to participate. But anyway, yeah, so, you know, there was a lot going on too with my self image, how I saw myself as a little olive skinned, curly haired person in this world that was a white world, really, that I grew up in. And so that was part of it was like, why does this, you know, this older man, like, why is he so intrigued with a 7-year old? It's like, even at 7, I was like, that doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel quite right. And you know, when I was growing up, we didn't even have a doll that looked like this. Like the closest I had was I had a baby doll. Um, she's gone. I wore her out. She got worn out. But I loved her. She was an actual baby doll, and she was more like, I don't know, she was kind of like this doll. And she was this beautiful brown doll. Um, And interesting, even though, you know, our family friend's name was Judy, my doll was Judy too. I don't know. So, yeah, Judy was my brown baby doll. And I absolutely loved Judy. Even though sometimes I had a temper tantrum and, you know, she might have lost an arm here and there and then I had to sew it back on. I don't know. But um yeah, I just didn't have, you know, my Dawn doll was my first Barbie doll. But before her, all I had was my Judy doll, and I love her hair. Oh my God, I love her hair. Oh, it's just wonderful. It's beautiful. She doesn't have a name yet, but I'm sure I will give her a name as I move forward here. So I think that's the story for today, and I look forward to bringing you more stories.